There's comedy that's so funny that it hurts, and comedy that hurts so much that it's funny.
Which brings me to my main point, and that is that I will not be able to pay for anybody's tuition. I'm so sorry.
The world has always been difficult to figure out and analyze, from politics to social issues to interpersonal relationships and experiences. Discourse and hardship are not new. Comedy is a way for people to approach these hard situations and concepts, to discuss and make light of them. However, this approach is not always successful. There's a fine line between what is funny and what is offensive.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Richard. Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth. I'm going to, okay?
The risk of comedic-related injury is low, but never zero. Obviously, this kind of violence is never acceptable and results in Will Smith's
banned from the Oscars for 10 years. That's the punishment for Will Smith after he slapped Chris Rock during the awards ceremony nearly 2 weeks ago. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences announced the decision after a meeting today.
However, this extreme reaction is an interesting case study of comedy gone wrong. It is the perfect example of the relationship between a joke and an audience's perception of it. This interaction further sparks another level of jokes through memes and videos of it. The infamous Chris Rock slap is one larger joke within a joke. So how do comedians monitor and evaluate how a joke may be received? The short answer is some don't.
You'll be pleased to know this is the last time I'm hosting these awards, so I don't care anymore. I'm joking. I never did.
Ricky Gervais is a comedian and writer who worked on Extras and the British version of The Office. His comedic style is known for talking about difficult and taboo subjects in a crass and blunt manner. His jokes always teeter between, should he be saying this and why am I laughing at this?
Pathetic little fat man, no one's bloody laughing, the clown that no one laughs at.
NBC clearly don't care either. Fifth time. So
Ricky Gervais hosted the Golden Globes for 5 years, his last time being in 2020. It got to the point where he could make any joke he wanted. If he wasn't going to be asked back, why not?
let's have a laugh at your expense, shall we? Remember, they're just jokes. We're all going to die soon, and there's no sequel. So
In his last year of hosting, he made many jokes about sex offender and felon Jeffrey Epstein.
spoiler alert, season 2 is on the way, so in the end, he obviously didn't kill himself. Just like Jeffrey Epstein. Shut up. I know he's your friend, but I don't care.
You can see it in everyone's faces. They are absolutely terrified. Gervais is shocking the audience, making them so uncomfortable that they have to laugh, while still tearing down all of Epstein's friends. Though accusatory, he makes a point about how corrupt and disgusting Hollywood is.
Welcome back. I'm first-time Golden Globe loser Nikki Glaser.
5 years later, Nikki Glaser, the most recent host of the Golden Globes, was very successful at her job.
Welcome to the 82nd Golden Globes, Ozempic's biggest night.
She framed all her material well and delivered it even better. Hosting these events is such a thankless and awful job, but she made the night super memorable for all the audience members and people like me watching at home. And the ratings of the night agreed with this. When you see Glaser and Gervais' sets, the topics they are talking about are pretty much the same.
Challengers Girl, oh my God, it was so good. I mean, that movie was more sexually charged than Diddy's credit card. I mean, seriously. Oh, no, I know, I'm sorry. I'm upset too. The after party's not going to be as good this year, but we have to move on. I know Stanley Tucci Freak-Off just doesn't have the same ring to it, but no baby oil this year, just lots of olive oil, okay?
The Diddy and the Epstein joke are essentially the same, but there's one crucial difference. Glaser doesn't accuse any of the actors of being in on it. This allows them to enjoy the night instead of being on the defense. The difference in perception is grounded in the way they frame the joke. While hosting the Golden Globes made Nikki Glaser a household name, she is also well known for her roasts.
Tom Brady, 5
5-time Super Bowl MVP, most career wins, most career touchdowns. You have 7 rings. Well, 8 now that Giselle gave hers back, but
which are brutal, nevertheless so funny. With this type of comedy that can hit close to home, literally a factor that resulted in the Chris Rock slap of 2022, Glazer has her own rules when developing her jokes.
If it involves someone that isn't them in the joke, then I go, okay, this is questionable.
If you're worried about a joke and how it's going to go over, just ask them.
Some of these would get pitched and we're like, we can't say that.
The Wild Robot is nominated tonight, and by that I mean Nicole Kidman after 2 white wines. I wish we could have done that, but it's just, if she makes a face, I think she
While there are no
would,
definitive rules to comedy, her clear method of ethical writing makes sense and works. It minimizes the risk of offending someone while also exploring how to add boundaries to the art form. Glazer poses an interesting idea. There are 2 parts of comedy, the person telling the joke / the joke, and then the audience / the joke. Both have a symbiotic relationship and cannot be successful without the other. If Glazer knew Nicole Kidman would laugh at the joke, she would have said it, and it would have been really funny. But if Kidman didn't like it and showed her disdain, the joke would have fallen flat and Glazer would have lost a sense of trust in the audience. So really, the audience's reaction is the follow-through of a joke. This concept begs the question, are there boundaries? By being at these events, are you consenting to having jokes targeted at you? I feel like there is a clear line between funny and hurtful, but by showing up, you're expecting or at the very least consenting to that exchange. One example of this is hecklers. By interacting with a set, the hecklers are therefore becoming part of it. Their interactions tear down any sense of a fourth wall when they insert themselves into the conversation. In terms of the Chris Rock slap, I think Rock's only fault was not thinking and minimizing the risk of his joke. Jada Smith has every right to feel uncomfortable. But at the end of the day, she decided to attend an event where it's common knowledge that there will be interactions between the host and the attendees. But by having such a visceral reaction, the public's focus shifted to the physical altercation and not the joke itself. I do understand Smith's frustration with the joke. Comedy is deeply personal. John Mulaney, a famous comedian, found immense success in sharing his personal experiences, like in his most recent stand-up special, John Mulaney, Baby J.
They were both named John. There was John O'Brien, John McNulty, and then me. My name is John Mulaney. And if you didn't know that, you were probably in rehab with me.
In 2020, Mulaney went back to rehab to get help for his substance abuse issues. Due to his fame, his hospitalization was put under intense public scrutiny. The special focuses on Mulaney's complicated relationship with drugs from his teenage years to his adult life. The jokes are all incredibly real and vulnerable, but Mulaney talks about it proudly. By doing this, Mulaney takes authority over his own narrative in the way he knows best. Through comedy. If someone else was to make these jokes about him, it would read as distasteful. But he uses his own truth to create something incredibly funny, which is what makes this special work. The comedy of jokes come from truth. Though upsetting, Ricky Gervais's Epstein joke is funny because people in the room are connected to Epstein. Is it horrifying? Yes. Is it true? Yes. And is it funny? Yes. This concept largely resembles any sort of satire. The genre's job is to point out negative things in our world and society, allowing us to create a conversation about them. When satire is mentioned, I often think of Animal Farm, The 10th of December, and SNL. By portraying an issue as something else, something disarming, people better and want to better understand it. While not all comedy is satire, I think all satire must have a sense of comedy in it to be effective. Sometimes the absurdity of satire lends itself to humor, making it a natural feat. But this comedy is what makes satire effective. It shows the absurdity of our own lives. This belief was especially used in Restoration comedies, plays written during the mid-1600s to the early 1700s. The goal of these comedies, and comedy in general, were to instruct and please by holding the glass to a society in need of satiric correction. In his essay, Theory of Comedy in the Restoration, scholar Robert de Hume asks if it should be purely ridicule. He argues that it doesn't because all the leads have admirable characteristics, which is something still prevalent in our comedy today and even explains Nikki Glazer's immense success. Comedy is so interconnected with our personal perceptions and morals. Furthermore, it is an indicator of societal trauma and healing. The saying, "when is it too soon to make a 9/11 joke," actually means something. Because once you're able to make light of a difficult situation, it marks when you're fully recovered from it. That moment represents the healing of a deep scar in American history. When that moment happens may be different for people. Until it does, you run the risk of offending someone. Indeed, there is a fine line between what is funny and what is offensive, but that line is dynamic, determined by the audience and their mindset at that particular time. The offensive gradually becomes acceptable, and it's the responsibility of the comedian to to understand where that line is on any given day, ideally never crossing it.